and gentlemen.
Josh will bring him down. Oh, they sure is in the ice bath, man. Yeah, man. Look, when you come to Big Clay, you get ice baths. That come free. First, you get to go practice now. We charge for this. But this come free. You know what I'm saying? We charge for the work, but the after effects are free. You know what I'm saying? I'm just glad to be a part of Big Clay and be welcome around here. Now, listen, there's only one person I need y'all to worry about. Whenever you step on this campus, he about this tall, got a gray beard. Media. Like, just look for Moxie Media. Stay away from that guy. All right? He dangerous. He dangerous. Hey, remember what I told you? About this tall beard? Dangerous.
We're going to say, don't miss a chance to be kind to somebody this week.
That's right. So we want to say good night. God bless each and every one of you. And go Cougars!
It's literally, and how are we saved by God's wrath? How are we saved from God's wrath? Only through the eternal, complete, perfected work of Jesus Christ when he died on the cross in our place for our sins. That's the only way we're saved.
In a city that seamlessly blends the comforts of a small town and the amenities of a big city, we're proud to be banking beyond expectation right here in Alabama.
It only seems to get hotter as the summer wears on, especially when your air conditioning isn't keeping up. There is never a good time for your unit to quit working, but when it does, you know who to trust to fix it right. Keep it cool and reduce those high energy bills. Hemp Hill Services, your Bryant authorized dealer, will do whatever it takes to fix your air conditioning quickly and affordably. Known for their fair pricing and fast service, call your certified Bryant dealer Hemp Hill Services today for all tune-ups, repairs, and installation. 229-2090.
Pick a partner you can trust when your biggest investment is on the line. You can visit our website at BrettRogersRealtor.com, or you can call me anytime at 205-540-1182. And let's get you to the closing table.
Game day at Walk-Ons is just different, and it starts with the way our teammates prep each dish from our scratch menu. No shortcuts. We are hand-cutting every single mozzarella log straight from the block. Hand peeling, stuffing, and bacon wrapping each voodoo shrimp. Hand carving ribeyes for our steaks and po' boys. And hand slicing, then tossing our boneless wings and our house-made sauces. With wall-to-wall TVs and food like this, why would you want to watch anywhere else? That's game day. The Walk-Ons way.
Hello, welcome to Clay Chalkwood High School. I'm Dr. Eugene Dallas, the principal of Clay Chalkwood High School. And I just want to take a little time to show you the greatness that we have here at Clay Chalkwood High School. We have a multitude of programs that help encapsulate everything that we do here, from culinary to health science, pharmacy tech, and for the first time ever, even a fishing team. So come with me on this brief journey as I show you the greatness of Clay Chalkwood High School.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Big Clay Coaches Show. This is Freddie Flowers, the voice of the Cougars. We are glad you are here with us on this Tuesday evening as we get prepared for the playoffs here in 2025. As always, to my left, the head coach, Big Stu Floyd. And, you know, we had a week off. So we missed you guys, but it was a good time to, you know, kind of slow down, kind of take things in a little bit, rest, get the nicks and the bumps healed up. Coach, how'd you enjoy that week off?
It was fantastic. Had a nice week off, played golf twice, and had a good week.
Handicap?
I played pretty good. I didn't play good, I don't know.
I just remember what your son is.
Yeah.
That's what made me ask about the
handicap. I had one day it was not good.
And well, that's all right. You got to get out there. You got to relax a little bit.
Beautiful.
You know, everybody gets to kind of rest and kind of reset. What's it like, having that week off at the end of the season? Because, Clay, we typically play right on through. I can't remember the last time we had it, where it was at the end of the season and we had a week off.
It was a good week. Came at a good time. Sometimes it's hit or miss on whether you're healthy or not. It just depends on the year. But for the most part, we're pretty healthy right now. But it was good just to kind of get back and work on some things that maybe we hadn't worked on in a while, or some things that you want to work on going forward into the playoffs. So it's good to kind of revisit some things offensively, defensively, special teams that you hadn't done or that you've been working on. Just kind of building those toolboxes, getting ready for the playoffs.
And, like you said, with having that week off, fans, you got to understand these guys get a chance to kind of really go back and dig deep, going all the way back to week one. So, looking back at the season, what are your thoughts?
Obviously you're 10-0, so that's definitely a positive. You had a good run, and you played well in the games you needed to play well in, and for the most part, you're unscathed as far as injuries go. So that's definitely a plus. There's a lot of teams I think that are beat up and banged up, and right now we're knock on wood, we're pretty healthy, and so just to have all your pieces in place, and you're not really having to manufacture two people doing one person's job or whatever. We're in a good spot, and I don't know that, and I still don't think we've played our best game from the start to finish yet. But obviously the big negative I think for us is just the penalties and just stupid mistakes, stuff like that, which happens, but that's something we've tried to address last week and this week in practice. Just when we're getting penalties, we gotta do something to keep them from continuing to happen. So that's kind of been one of the big focuses the last 2 weeks.
And so looking back at
by the way, what is this guy? What is he blowing over there at the gas station? He's driving me crazy right now.
Well,
it's 7 o'clock. What is he blowing? There's no leaves over there.
Fans, everybody's got to make their money, and apparently the folks.
He's ripping people off because there ain't a leaf over there. There ain't a tree nowhere near that place.
He's got the leaf blower going. Thankfully, he's not right next to us, or it could be a whole lot worse.
I think he's blowing gasoline all over the place.
And maybe.
Yeah. There you go. Thank you, Moxie.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that guy's blowing over there.
So if some highlights, what would you say are the highlights of the season that stand out to you?
Obviously going undefeated in the region is a big deal, and really just the manner in which we played those region games. Obviously, beating Thompson in that way where you have to, you're down 21-7 and you got to come back and take the momentum and take a hold of the game. So facing some adversity in that game, and really, the Oxford game, the Pinson game, we, kind of get, a little bit of a lead, and the other team comes back a little bit, and then being able to answer those comebacks in those teams as well. So just being able to sustain drives and get up, for big games every week. Week after week is a big deal.
Hey, folks, we have somebody
we'll put you
chatting with us right there. If you guys can see that, y'all might remember that guy from.
Do you need to call me back?
That's Jay Bubba.
Okay. All right. Bye.
I wanted to holler at us. So Jay Bubba, a big part of the Cougar family, always will be.
You think Coach DeBoer would answer a FaceTime during the coaches show?
I doubt it.
He should.
He should.
It'd be a lot more fun.
Probably would be. So, you're talking about things that, they've improved on. What players stood out to you this year as far as their growth?
Yeah, offensively, I think, there was definitely a stretch during the season where the quarterback was playing pretty high level. And really, even at the back end of the season, I thought he got better as the years gone along, really just taking care of the ball. The running back Josh has had a tremendous senior year. Obviously, Corey, has been, he's definitely a difference maker and puts you in a whole other level.
Yeah, how about that offensive line?
Well, I hadn't gotten there. Yeah, I hadn't gotten there yet, but they've played well. Just kind of week in, week out, the protection, the run game. Even when you know that we're running the ball, they've done well. And really some of the complementary receivers, Nasir and Red and Caleb. And then defensively, obviously, your Colton's been as advertised. Your linebackers have played really well. I'll tell you one that's really played. It was Yadal. J-Rock has played really, really well. Just going into the season, you don't really know what you got. A first-year player, but his level of play, just his energy, has played really, really well. Dion, to me, has been everything we needed him to be as far as being a lockdown corner. Really, he's played about as well as you can play. Obviously in the back end you got Starks, has been pretty solid and consistent, and then the kicker has done well.
Oh yeah, the Bull,
the Bull. He does not like kicking kickoffs toward the middle school, as we noticed. He's hit that fence about 10 times.
Yes.
But he's been consistent and gotten better. And, honestly, man, just, the way we practiced today and practice, like we got after it, both sides of the ball. We got after it last week, did a lot of one-on-one stuff just to keep that speed of the game. And so really it was just tried to have some highly competitive periods where the ones are going against the ones really last week and a little bit this week as well, just to keep that game speed alive.
Yeah. And young guys, I know, like watching Aaron Robinson, watching him come along. Any other young guys?
Yeah, I mean, you've gotten. We've been in some games where we've been fortunate enough to play some younger kids, but obviously the quarterback, CJ getting in there to get the reps and get him ready, in case something were to happen this year, and also have him ready to be the guy next year.
Yeah, and he is spooky fast.
Yeah, man, he's just got a good knack, a good feel for the game, and kind of sees the big picture. And then on defensively, we've had some. They got a good rotation of D linemen that come in and make plays, and I forgot to mention Keith. Keith has
Yes.
been a force to be reckoned with as well. But I'll tell you, another person I left out is E.J. Penn. Being able to put him at the nose and move Colton around really has allowed us to do some things defensively that we didn't quite see going into the season. You kind of pegged, Colton to be the nose and then, have a committee of other people. But having EJ to be able to hold that down and move Colton, it just kind of puts an offense in a bind.
Yeah. Now, so, we talked about, getting those penalties under control, corralling that. What other areas do you kind of see, like, we just got to get just a little bit better here and there?
Yeah, well, I mean, as stupid as it sounds, it's just really just being able to line up correctly. A lot of our, mistakes come in the form of just like not lining up correctly or misaligning. But, it's funny, the penalties, it's deceiving because some of those penalties are deserved penalties and some of them are not deserved penalties. And you'd be highly surprised. But in a game, you don't, the average fan doesn't know that. And they can derail drives or points or extend drives when they're not necessarily maybe the right call. Some of them are the right call. And so we got to cut down on the obvious, the pass interference when we don't have to interfere. Like the ball's 20 yards over his head. There was no need to panic and grab him. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Penalties are going to happen as far as, holding and, stuff like that. Inaction penalties, but us lining up incorrectly or, roughing the punter, like stupid stuff like that. those are things that we can control, and that's or muffing a punt, just stuff like that. We let Pinson kind of get back into that game early. Just we rough the punter and we muff the punt, stuff like that. Man, just don't beat yourself.
And it really does come down to that. It's more mental than anything.
Yeah.
Obviously next to the coaches, I've got the best seat in the house. And looking down at it, one of the things I notice is that sometimes when you get up on another team, it can get kind of testy. And, the players have to know that, hey, we got to keep our cool because, nobody wants to be down by a lot of points. They're trying. They're frustrated as well. But that can turn on you in 15-yard chunks.
Yeah.
Because typically, it's the guy who gets caught, not the guy who initiated it.
Yeah, we've had some situations where, guys get tangled up, and that's part of it. We gotta do a good job of just, if you're a teammate and you see it going on, get them out of that situation, right? That's a leadership thing. And then the other thing is we can't just let our emotions, our ego get the best of us. If somebody pushes us, we don't have to get the last push, right? It's not necessary. You're dressed in a fully combative outfit. They're not going to hurt you by pushing you.
That's right.
Or even punching you in the face. Who cares, right? And so just really getting them to understand that, you may have gotten the last push, but it cost us 15 yards, and that can't be worth it, right? So it's more just thinking about the team rather than yourself.
And I know there was a book you guys are reading this season, and I love that about the required reading. Talk a little bit about that, the self-reflection for yourself, and what do you think helped through the season? What did you learn, not only about the team, but what did you learn about yourself and your staff in year 2?
You got to develop leaders. Right, you gotta pick out a core group of guys that the team is willing to follow, and that they're deserving to be followed. And so identifying who those people are, and we kind of did a thing where we got them to draft a team, right? And they got to draft 2 people, and it was 2 people that they trusted, and that was more of trust of these people are going to be consistently here every day, and you can count on them. Their grades are going to be good. Their attendance is going to be good. Their production in the weight room is going to be good. And so you had a core group of guys that, is kind of the leadership of the team. And then they had a core group of guys around them that kind of got in line. And we actually, were able to develop some leaders to kind of take over those roles as being the leader of their group. Through that, and then we divvied them up among coaches, and some of these coaches didn't know these players because they're not their position group. These were random, positions in each group. So some of your coaches kind of got to, develop some relationship with kids that they don't normally interact with a lot on a daily basis, and so I think it just kind of, enabled us to have kind of more of a family type atmosphere, culture in the building was kind of the biggest thing.
And that's great. And one of the other things I really loved, and it's kind of a testament to Clay Chalkley, seeing Willie Miller out there on the sideline.
Yeah.
That was huge because the players see former players, and recent former players at that, coming back and getting involved. So that is, like I say, that's fantastic to see as well. And the future looks completely bright for Clay Chalkville, and I feel pretty good, going into the playoffs and seeing this group of kids. I've seen a lot of them over the years. This is a pretty solid group of guys, and there's no reason they can't get it done.
No.
Well, like I said, we got to see.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we're going to go take a quick break. I'm Freddie Flowers, the voice of the Cougars, coming to you live from Walk-Ons here in Trussville, Alabama. And before we go to commercial, I want to give a big shout out to Landon Maynard, who is the GM here at Walk-Ons, allowing us to host our show. So let's give him a big round of applause before we go to commercial.
Right.
And we'll be right back.
Let's get started.
God has appeared. It's literally, and how are we saved by God's wrath? How are we saved from God's wrath? Only through the eternal, complete, perfected work of Jesus Christ when he died on the cross in our place for our sins. That's the only way we're saved.
Welcome back to the Big Clay Coaches Show. As always, it's Freddie Flowers, the voice of the Cougars. Next to me this time is defensive coordinator Jake Helveston. How you doing, Coach?
Good, man. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, yeah, glad you're back again. And, you know, that defense, my goodness. I think, Colton, I said, I don't know whether to call you Courteous Colton or not because I've seen you a couple of times. It's like, all right, now that I've got you down there, let me help you up.
Oh, okay. Well, I think he's worried about falling on him and getting a penalty. So, yeah, let me pick you up, try to show you I'm not getting penalized or I'm not being extra aggressive. So
that's the way you do that. So, obviously, you know, the last few years, Clay's defense has been lights out. Last year, a lights out defense. This year, no different. I believe they're the 5th ranked in 6A?
Yeah, I think we're ranked 5th just by points per game right now. So, which I put an asterisk by, but, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you got, you know, pick six or scoop and score was the first score that we gave up, or, you know, a special teams kickoff return or whatever gets credited to the defense. But, you know, pick six gets credited to the offense. So right. I don't know how you balance those out. It doesn't make sense to me, but that's just me.
It's Con McCormack. I don't know either, but I will say this. You know, you look at stats and you talk to your players, and you know sometimes. And I know you're the kind of guy that say, look, guys, don't pay attention to the headlines. Go out there and just do your job. The papers don't really matter, but you know, because you can't do anything about the opponents that the other teams have to get them the stats that they have.
Right.
And so that's always a quality that I've noticed in you, and I noticed the players notice in you because you'll hear them and say, Coach Helson don't care. We just got to go hit him. And I'm like, that's exactly what you should be doing.
Well, and that's the thing, you know, you just try to set a bar for them to their standard. Like, it's not, you're not playing to the level of your opponent. You got to play for your standard. Like, what is your standard based on each team is different. Like, they have certain ways they do about things, and the way we want to play defense, we have a certain standard of how we fly to the ball, how we tackle, how we hit, you know, how we break it down, all those little things, and hopefully it translates, you know, into, you know, victories, which so far it has. Now, obviously, the game within the game, we want to try to shut the other team out, because as great as our offense is, you know, if the other team doesn't score, we're going to win anyway. So we always make that. Aside from winning, that's our second goal, is to try to get a shutout or a donut. So, and I think these guys have embraced that a little too much. It almost seems like a loss to some of them when, you know, a team might get a score. So I've tried to encourage them, yes, that's the goal, but, like, you still got more football to play. Like, you know, the game's not over. Let's keep those points down to a minimum. And so far, I think they've done a pretty good job.
Yeah, and Coach Hatcher, I know he's coming up. Don't get me wrong, Coach Hatcher, but, hey, a 3-0 victory is a 3-0 victory.
Right.
So, yeah. But, you know, from a defensive standpoint.
Right.
From a defensive standpoint.
And with this team as a whole, I think they've complemented each other well. We talked about it, I think, at the beginning of the year when he and I were on earlier. We just talked about how going against the best offense in the state has helped make us the best defense in the state, and they compliment us back saying that we're the best defense, and they get to see us every day in practice. And so I think that has helped complement each other and why we're able to have the success we've had so far.
Yeah. And so looking back at the season, you know, defensively, what are your thoughts overall from the time the season started up to now?
Well, just the improvement that you've seen, a lot of, you know, guys who started for the first time this year or guys who are finding their way into the mix. Obviously, Josh going down early in the season was, you know, not something you planned for, but Jalen Melton has stepped up in a big way where you wouldn't have thought, you know, he was going to see the field as much, but he's done a great job in filling in and, you know, making that role his own. Everybody that we rotate along the D-line has been a big contributor for us. Obviously, you know the names of Keith and Colton, but seeing EJ come up and being that stopgap in the middle for us, as well as the guys rotating Pope and Moxie. Those guys have done a great job as they come in. Big Kiwi, when he gets in. So, it's just, it's big. It's been big for those guys to come in really good times and help contribute with what they're doing. But you also see with when we're able to get a big lead, younger guys get in and get a shot. So they're also, being able to implement, our defense. And what I like what we do in practice, and I'll take this to my grave, just the implement, we cross scout. And so we label our stuff, for the offense, what that team was lining up defensively in our terminology. And they do the same thing. And so now our twos or whoever's giving a look, they're able to run our defense just, not exactly the way, but it's our calls. And so they're kind of really getting a good work against, our one offense running our stuff.
Yeah. And I know you mentioned a lot of the up front guys. But, man, that linebacking core and that secondary has they've grown a lot.
They have, and it's fun to see guys like Starks and Dion and Butler, because I came in 22, and all those guys were freshmen. And so to see them grow up, from where they were, Starks was an outside linebacker with me, and then he had an injury. And then his sophomore year, we had a guy move in that, was going to play that spot, so we moved him to safety, and he's made a home there ever since. But just seeing them, come from that spot as freshmen and kind of grow up with me, and then seeing me change roles from just outside linebacker coach to, now they're coordinator, and they've really adapted well and done a great job, especially for a guy like Butler, too, who missed out on his junior year with an injury, and then just seeing what he's been able to do for us this year.
Yeah, and speaking of growth, I've had a couple of opportunities to come in during workout sessions and everything else.
Yeah.
Tell the fans a little bit about that, because these guys are something else in the weight room, and, I mean, they're getting after it.
Well, and those are the things you can't hide. You talk about, work ethic and things like that, but the weight room doesn't lie. That's always going to be a truth. If you're in the weight room putting in that work, it's going to be evident. And so you can always, like I talked about earlier in the year, we had that Vitruve system, and the off-season was able to keep track of reps and things like that. But, you just see the effort and work the guys are putting in each time. They want to go heavier, even though the percentages don't call for it at that moment in time. I got to reel them back sometimes. But, just it's all on their effort, what they want to put into it. Anybody can get anything out that they want at the weight room as long as what they put into it.
And so if you had some favorite highlights this season, I know what my favorite highlight is. It was actually pregame.
Oh, pregame.
I'll leave that one where it is.
Okay, I can picture that one. Yeah.
But I'm sure you're probably thinking of I'm sure you're thinking of the same thing too.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. But what were your favorite highlights of the season? With the players, what things just stood out to you?
Well, I mean, you talk about a highlight. You talk about the momentum swing that we had in the Thompson game. Obviously, we didn't come out and give our best effort in the first half defensively. And, Coach Freeman, who, I worked with for 4 years and I have great respect for, he had my number in first half. But we made some adjustments second half, and it helps when Keith strip sacks or interception by Colton to swing the full momentum, from them going up 3 scores to now, it's a 1-score game. And all the momentum's on our side. So that's a big highlight. Seeing guys like E.J. Penn get a scoop and score against Huffman, and just him learning how to celebrate, that was pretty fun to me. Just the enthusiasm that each of these guys have for one another when they see their teammate make a play. Heck, we even got our backup center in the game, last home game, and he gets a strip fumble. Big Mike coming in and getting a defensive stat, getting him some reps. But he got himself a little strip sack, and just seeing the whole crowd, almost like have a Rudy moment, things like that, you take with you, as you go in your coaching career, just to see the excitement on the kids' faces and the things they're able to do from that. But couldn't be more proud of this defense and what they put in. I wrote down our stuff. Yeah, so we talked about points per game. It's 9.9 according to the points that are on the scoreboard, but in actuality, with the defense on the field, it's 7.8. So that puts us, I think, 2 behind Muscle Shoals, who's given up 6.8 right now. But we've only given up 1 rushing touchdown, which is unheard of in 10 games. And then for the season, we're only averaging 60. We're giving up 63 rushes a game, rushing yards a game, and only 100 in the air. So under 170 yards per game. Is pretty impressive. And, like I said, I've been at places and I've called similar defenses, but it's these kids and these assistant coaches that have helped put these guys in the right spot to be able to have the season they've had. And like I said, couldn't be more proud of them.
And looking back, from season 1 as the DC to season 2, what has been the good and bad from this season that you learned from? Being introspective, what did you learn about yourself and the team in general?
Well, last year, obviously, we had a heartbreak and, didn't expect to lose when we did, but it is what it is. But I think it lit a fire under these guys to come out and be more dominant. You see guys, Dion, who's normally, quiet mouse, speaking up more in front of the team and taking on that leadership role now as a senior, not wanting to let anything be put off to the wayside. Guys like Isaiah and Kulo, who have stepped up as junior leaders in the middle of that defense. Not only are they knocking heads, but they're leading the defense. Guys like Keith and Colton and J Rock, who's found a spot as Sam, bringing a lot of energy. JT Taylor, Duke, who's just just the energy and level of play that they're bringing to each and every snap, has been beneficial to see that as we've gone forward. But for me, introspectively, for myself, I've learned to try, as emotional as I get during practice, and I'll go, you'll think I'm as calm as I am right now, and then something will happen that'll flip a switch, and I'm like 0 to 100. It's almost like, gas to a flame or a flame to gas.
Apparently, there's some witnesses in the crowd.
Yeah. Well, there's one that pokes the bear a little bit too much, and he's probably the one saying no right now. But these kids respond. They know at the end of the day I love them, and it's it's the standard that I try to instill in them, just to pursue excellence. Because if you pursue excellence, you even if you're short, as long as you're pursuing it, you're going to be closer than as if you didn't try it. So we hold them to a high standard. Like I said, a lot of teams would look at that. Well, why you make them do 0 missed tackles or 0? Because that's what the standard is. If you want to set that standard, if you set it for 5, then they're going to miss 6. Or if you set it to only allow 10, they're going to allow 20. So our standard is, attempt for a shutout every freaking game, and I don't care who the opponent is. And I think they've, like I said, to a fault, they may have adapted that a little bit more than I had expected. But like I said, having those guys in there and knowing the work they've put in this offseason, it's proven evident on the field with what they've done. So.
Well, Coach, I know I certainly appreciate you. Thanks for saving me a corner after every game to go in and watch sideline after the home games. It's fun sitting in there and chopping it up with the guys and just kind of reflecting on the game that was just completed.
And I'll take that from Chad Slade. He made my office team dad office, so I got all the snacks and everything in there. So I have to put aside my introvert self sometimes and just allow let's socialize and hang out a little bit.
Well, I can tell you the eating is good at the Inn of Helveston up there. So with that being said, we're going to take another quick break. We're going to be right back. This is the Big Clay Coaches Show coming to you live from Walk-Ons here in Trussville, Alabama. We'll see you in just a few.
In a city that seamlessly blends the comforts of a small town and the amenities of a big city, we're proud to be banking beyond expectation, right here in Alabama.
It only seems to get hotter as the summer wears on, especially when your air conditioning isn't keeping up. There is never a good time for your unit to quit working, but when it does, you know who to trust to fix it right. Keep it cool and reduce those high energy bills. Hemp Hill Services, your Bryant authorized dealer, will do whatever it takes to fix your air conditioning quickly and affordably. Known for their fair pricing and fast service, call your certified Bryant dealer Hemp Hill Services today for all tune-ups, repairs, and installation. 229-2090.
Pick a partner you can trust when your biggest investment is on the line. You can visit our website at BrettRogersRealtor.com, or you can call me anytime at 205-540-1182. And let's get you to the closing table.
All right, welcome back to Walk-Ons here in Trussville, Alabama. This is the Big Clay Coaches Show. As always, I'm Freddie Flowers, the voice of the Cougars, and we are matriculating along through tonight's broadcast. This time, next to me is Coach Hatcher, the offensive coordinator for the Cougars. Good to see you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
And I want to give a quick plug to Walk-Ons, man. Their cheese sticks, I'm telling you, if you ain't got some, you got to get some. It's become a starter for the show now. It's automatic. Coach Floyd can't seem to survive without him. So, offensively, man, we have put up a little bit of kind of some pinball numbers here and there.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a pretty good year. I think we're averaging like 48 points a game. That's 14, 15 quarters that we haven't played to. Been able to run the ball really well this year, throw when we need to, throw when we want to. Quarterback runs. Josh had a phenomenal year. We played pretty well up front with really 3 new starters and 1 playing a new position. So I knew we were going to be pretty good after we played McAdory. And you go through all summer, and it's just like you're playing our defense, and it's like give and take every week. And then you play the OTAs, you're like, all right, maybe we'll be pretty good again. And then you kind of start the season. You don't really know what you have till they actually get out there on Friday nights. But so far, so good.
Yeah. Now, there's an elephant in the room, and this has to do with teams from the past. Because I got beat up a little bit in some DMs, if you will, when I had mentioned that this team is on track, or appears to be on track, to exceed I think it was 728 in 21, and 731. I
think so.
In 14. So, obviously, and I love that because I get it, guys. Where are we sitting right now?
I guess 480. 480 about 10, 48 points a game. So, so right at 480. And honestly, to be honest with you, we probably would have broken 21. I blame Coach Gilmer. We didn't kick PATs, even though we had a field goal kicker. So,
well, I was waiting to see that. I was waiting to hear that comment because 480 plus. Say if we were to keep that 48 going and say we could get there in top 5.
Yeah, I don't.
Do you think we could beat that? But
well, if we do, that good. I love it. But I mean, like I said, like you said, I heard you at 3-0. Like we just want to win. I mean, we just want to win 5 more games, and
that's right.
That's the goal.
That's right, guys. I was not a math major in school. Miss Poteet, God rest her soul. I know you stayed after me and tried hard. But that being said, looking back at this year's offense, having another year with Fry, and of course Barber coming back, coming out of last year and into this year, looking back, what are the big things that you see?
Well, the biggest thing we focused on was red zone offense. And I'm looking. I knew like each game we've been pretty good. We're 91% in the red zone scoring points, 37 touchdowns, 6 field goals. We've had 4 times we didn't score in the red zone. So that was a big thing last year we didn't do well. So that's been a big point of emphasis this year is like when we get inside the 20, like we got to score, preferably touchdowns, but like we got to score some type of points. And I can go through these probably before the top of my head. Thompson, Brandon, maybe Brandon twice, and then maybe a missed field goal. So that's been a big thing that's been really good. And then we've also really focused on just first downs. A lot of people talk about third downs. Kind of ChatGPT did some research. If you gain 4 to 5 yards on first down over 60% of the time, you're an elite offense because you're in second and short and third and short. And we're sitting at right at 63%. So, like I said, we've been really good on first downs. And that's some of our goals, our weekly goals that we do every week. if we got 20 first down calls, we want to be, around that 14, 15 plays if we're getting 4+ yards.
So when you look back at the offense, where do you see the greatest area of growth? And now for me, watching Fry back there, seeing the lane and taking off when it becomes available. I notice he's done that a lot more. He has more patience back there, and of course the offensive line has really developed.
Yeah, Fry's done a better job. I would say early on he wanted to kind of get outside the pocket more. And like I said, we got 2 really good tackles that are doing a good job pushing them up and creating that pocket. So he's done a better job just scanning the field, and if there's nothing there, going north and south instead of going east and west. Obviously, the end zone's north and south, not east and west. So he's done a better job when he does take off. But, yeah, he's done a better job this year. He's just more control of the offense, comfortable with the calls, knows where people are going to be. And, like I said, really been a big leader for us so far.
And J-Dub, I don't even know where to begin.
I'm glad he plays for us. I know that. That's one of my highlights. I know we'll get it to later, but him running over the kid from Hueytown, I know that's game 1, but that was, dude's like 270, 6'4", and J-Dub's what, all 5'9", 5'10". But, yeah, he's got 17 touchdowns. Like I said, almost 1,000 yards rushing. Probably would have been if he's played, full games, but he should break that 1,000-yard this week.
And in your receiver core, and I'm just being honest, this is quite the group, people. I'm just being just 10 toes down with that. You have a guy like Corey Barber out there, and that goes without saying. How do you, as an offensive coordinator throughout the season, knowing that he's going to get double, triple, he's going to be bracketed, whatever it is, because they see that, how watching those other guys step up, what goes through your mind watching them develop throughout the season? But at the same time, you kind of have to manage, your Corey Barbers, because they're just getting, and to be fair, you're kind of getting beat up because everybody's trying to stop you.
Yeah, you get into it, and that's a compliment to him, how good of a player he is. And we know that's going to happen. So, we try to move him inside, motion him around, hand him the ball. There's different things to try to get him the ball quick and get him in space. But the guys around him, we have the confidence of them making plays. They do it at practice, whether it's Emerson, Red, Nazir's been a big key role for us, been able to play tight end, receiver, running back, and then you got Ferris and Burt and some other guys that have contributed as well. So we have confidence in other guys when, there's one-on-one matchups or the box is light, we have to just take advantage of kind of what they're giving us.
And as far as players that have emerged, you heard me mention Aaron Robinson earlier. Of course, another one obviously is C.J. Eldridge. When they get their opportunities, they make the most of them. Who else would you say that has really just kind of emerged and stepped up out front?
We've talked about Josh and Fry, so that's 2 that, we knew what type of players they were, but they've had a really good season. The other 2 for me is Nazir Ray. He's had, I wrote it down, he's had 4 touchdowns as a tight end in high school, and he's had 2 called back. So he's had 6 touchdowns. That doesn't happen much for tight ends in high school. So he's been a really key piece that he can play out wide. We can motion him in. He can start in. We can motion him out. We can motion him to the backfield. So he's just been a pivotal role for us of keeping the same personnel on the field but doing multiple different things.
And he's deceptively fast.
He is. I would say he's not really a receiver, but he's not really a tight end. He's probably more a running back, but he can do all 3 pretty well. And then the other one is J.T. Jones. I knew he was really good, but him moving to center is a new position. Obviously, he made the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star, probably going to be All-State. Coach Yeager said he's probably the best center in the state. So he's just been a really good leader for us up front, and really for all the other guys that are coming back to kind of watch how he prepares, takes it serious. But like I said, I'm definitely going to miss him after this year.
And you mentioned one of your favorite highlights, obviously, Dub trucking somebody at Hueytown. Was there anything else that just kind of stood out to you this season, in specific games that just said, wow?
I would say moments were the, obviously you got Corey's touchdown against Thompson. That's an awesome moment. But I would say a couple plays before, we were on the -10. It was 3rd and 10. I called 2 horrible plays. We're in 3rd and 10. We hit Corey on a dig, And, obviously Corey, like I said, we picked up a twist and a blitz. That all happened. Nobody probably even knows what happened, but the running back, Josh, and the O-line picked up a blitz and a twist, and they were playing man-free, and Corey just made a play. But those two plays back-to-back really stuck out to me. And then just the total game was Mount Brook. Man, it was good to beat them. Just really, because every time we played them since I've been here, it's like 17-13 or 21-14, or we lost one year, and it's just like I was tired of playing close games with Mount Brook.
Yeah, full difference. Mountain Brook generally has always been, one of those teeth-clenching, tough contests for the Cougars. And, you come out of there 49-0, you're kind of like, hey. So, absolutely. Good and bad from the season, and then looking back introspectively as the offensive coordinator, under Coach Floyd, going from year one to year two. How do you see your growth as with the good and the bad from this season?
Well, I'll just start with the good and bad with kind of offensively. I'll start with the negative first. Just pre-snap penalties. So he's talked about penalties, but it's just lining up correctly, jumping off sides, just that stuff you can control. Like, you're going to get holdings, you're going to get things like that are going to happen. You're just natural playing the game. Kind of how I've grown is probably like less is more. So doing the same stuff but in different formations and just kind of tweaking it as the week goes on. Like I said, just letting the kids play. That's the biggest thing. Is like our kids are really good. If they're confused, they're not good. So try to make them not confused. And the good is, like I said, kind of touched on it, is red zone offense has been really good for us. First downs, and then also turnovers. Like, I think we've only turned the ball over 5 times this year, with the last one coming, I think I wrote it down. I don't know. I think it was Brandon, Mississippi was our last turnover. We had 2 picks against Brandon, 2 in the red zone. Like I said, we've only turned the ball over 5 times, knock on wood. But that's been a really plus for us, and our team is just not giving the ball away.
Yeah, and I noticed you had some other stats on there. Anything you in particular you'd like to share?
No, that I already hadn't. Like I said, talked about I will say this. So we've had 35 plays of 25 yards or plus. So our goal every week is getting 2. So we're averaging around basically 3.5 a game. So those are just kind of our, like, if you walk in our field house, there's a goal board, and it's got all these 7 or 8 things. And I would say most games or not, we've hit most of them. Sometimes the third downs on the games that were shortened, like your Shades Valley and Huffman, you don't have as many opportunities, so we didn't beat those. But not really. Like I said, just kind of already touched on it. Like I said, Fry's got 27 total touchdowns and only 3 giveaways. So that's very big. And same with Josh, 17 touchdowns and only 1 fumble.
Well, that's good stuff. And I know you guys are going to have them ready for the playoffs. Fans, I tell you, these guys are a lot of fun to watch, and if you ain't careful, you're going to miss something. Let's hear it for Coach Hatcher. He's our offensive coordinator at Clay Chalkville High School. I'm Freddie Flowers, the voice of the Cougars. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back.
Game day at Walk-Ons is just different, and it starts with the way our teammates prep each dish from our scratch menu. No shortcuts. We are hand-cutting every single mozzarella log straight from the block. Hand-peeling, stuffing, and bacon wrapping each voodoo shrimp. Hand-carving ribeyes for our steaks and po' boys. And hand-slicing, then tossing our boneless wings and our house-made sauces. With wall-to-wall TVs and food like this, why would you want to watch anywhere else? That's game day. The Walk-Ons way.
Hi, my name is Travis Lloyd with Abide Roofing. Under these Friday night lights, our community comes together, and just like our Cougars, Abide Roofing brings hard work, dedication, and hometown pride to every job. We're locally owned, fully licensed and insured, and committed to protecting the place that you call home. From roof repairs to full replacements, trust the team that's always in your corner. Abide Roofing, built on trust, backed by the community, and proud supporters of Cougar football. Go Cougars.
All right, welcome back to the Big Clay Coaches Show. And as always, my favorite part of the show, and I know it is from Coach as well.
Is that like a fat joke?
No, man, that means it's time to eat.
Yes.
Now, I've got the Cajun Diaz. What are you rocking?
Redfish tacos.
You know, I was close to doing that, but
Oh,
I said
they're good.
Cajun Diaz, yes.
They're good.
Because I want to make sure I got the red beans and rice. And this is, I'm telling you, it's a little chilly out here on the deck. You can see the steam coming off of it.
It's good red beans right there.
I'm telling you.
Come on.
That is
So-
good stuff.
So good.
That is absolutely good stuff. So, obviously, we've had a great season. We've gone undefeated in the regular season. We've got the region title. You know, we've some people would say that we've righted some wrongs from last year, but you know, the climb is still underway.
Yeah.
We are not where we want to be yet. And as we go into the playoffs, you know, all the brackets are set. Everybody starts looking. You know, the HSA has this pick'em thing. One thing I noticed on it, you know, people do these percentage things, and certain opponents, you know, they have like here or there. But one of the things I noticed, no matter who was in that pick'em thing, there were some teams that had like a 1%. And it struck me for a second. And I said, there's a point in that. There's a point to that 1%. And all it takes is the 1% chance that you're not thinking, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you're not mentally prepared for whatever reason. The team that people think can't turn out to do what people thought they couldn't.
Yeah.
How do you talk to the guys and get them ready? Because J.O.'s got a great running back.
Yeah.
And he's something to watch.
Yeah, I think, you know, for us, the approach is just win one, right? You just, you know, we before really last week we took the bracket and we zoomed out and kind of showed big picture, right? And you can start looking around, you know, at this team or that team and start, you know, thinking about potential matchups, but then, you know, zoomed in on that one team, right, us at Jackson Olin, because ultimately we don't have to beat, you know, we don't have to beat 47 teams. You only got to beat the one that's matched up against you on Friday.
That's right.
And so, you know, I think we've got to do, you know, as coaches, a good job of the messaging, right? The messaging is about Jackson Olin. I could care less, you know, who we play next week because I've got no control over that. So I don't know if it's going to be Jasper or it's going to be Gadsden City. And right now, at this point, it's irrelevant. It'll matter on Saturday if we won or not. So really just getting our guys to really hyper-focus on the team at hand and not – you know, it's like I told them on Monday, you know, if you're in the playoffs, you've earned that right. And so they deserve your utmost respect and attention regardless of who you play. And it's not necessarily about who, you know, it is who you're playing, but it's also in the manner in which you play. And, you know, we want to be playing clean football, you know, on all three phases and just, you know, being efficient. The operation is really good and clean. I know the effort's going to be there. I'm not worried about that. I know it's going to be there because they know what's at stake as far as there is no tomorrow, right? But just the manner in which we play, the manner in which how we prepare, Monday through Thursday is just as important to me as how we play on Friday. Because I think if preparation is really, really good Monday through Thursday, then you're going to play well probably on Friday.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And let's be honest. If I'm sitting up there and I'm Jackson Owen, and I said, hey, yeah, we drew Clay Chalkland in the first round, I'm not thinking about what I did during the season. I have a chance to not only knock off the number one team in 6A, but I got a chance to knock off what's ranked currently the number one team in the state.
Yeah.
And if that's not a motivator, I don't know what is. And so, and full disclosure, I've seen those kids play, and they played to the final whistle. And so we have to, obviously, we've got to prepare. It doesn't matter if it's a Thompson or a Jackson Owen or a Mountain Brook or whatever. We have to come in with that same work ethic every game, the way I see it.
Yeah. I mean, they've got very capable people on their team, right? If you don't do your job, they're very capable of doing their job. I think we've got a good plan really on both sides of who they are and what they're trying to do, and who the dangerous people are on their team, and that require a little bit of extra attention. And so, that's all you can do. I mean, it's not it doesn't matter if you're playing in week 15 or week 11, like it's the same amount of attention, right? Same preparation. All the coaches prepare the same each week, regardless if you're playing, whoever. It doesn't matter if we're playing Jackson Owen or UAB. There is no magic formula that you're going to pull out at some particular week. It's just the way you work.
And, the first round and the importance of being able to take care of business in that first round. Because, I don't even want to try to imagine, but, you kind of have to keep that in mind. Hey, we're 10-0. We're ranked here, done this, done that. We're region champs. And you don't take care of business in the first round.
Yeah.
Speaking to the importance of doing that, not so much because of what you've accomplished to this point, but to continue to climb.
Yeah, 10-0's really not even been mentioned, honestly. It was just more of a, hey, congratulations. You're one of 5 teams in your school's history that ever did that, but it really doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's the playoffs. Everybody's record's the same right now. 10-0's great, and that'll be something good to think back on in their futures as they get older, but ultimately that doesn't really matter. This week matters. And so, we just want to be playing our best week after week, to where, I showed them a video this past week of the famous clip in Deep Impact, right, where the comet's hitting the water and it creates this huge tsunami tidal wave. And that's kind of what you want to do in the playoffs. You want to accumulate, right, playing good, winning games until there's this surge that ultimately has to land somewhere. And so you want to, we're not going to build up, any week really of, putting an emphasis on this is the playoffs. I don't want them being tight. I want them to be loose and play free and just have fun and be aggressive. And so that's just the mentality.
Yeah, and I like that business as usual approach. Hey, it's another Friday night. We have a game. We got to go out there and we got to win it.
Yeah.
And we win that one, we prepare for the next one.
Yeah.
But until that matter is accomplished, there's no need to even discuss anything forward to that because it's irrelevant.
It is irrelevant.
Until, like you said earlier, that Saturday morning, when you're able to look back and said, okay, accomplished, now next step.
Next one. Yeah, that's it, man. Just win one, and that's the theme, and hopefully that's the theme for the next 5 weeks.
And that is the goal. And the climb is still on.
Yeah.
The climb is far, far from over. So fans, we want to remind you, we need your support. We want you out there. We want you loud. We want you screaming at the top of your lungs as the 2025 edition of the Clay Chalkville Cougars look to go 5-0. It's the second season. The first one is behind us. It is done. So let's get ready to go. We're going to wrap this one up. We appreciate y'all, your support this year. We look forward to seeing you here in the playoffs. I'm Freddie Flowers, the voice of the Cougars. Good night. God bless. And go Cougars!